Waterhouse. And his story's called Little Miracles.
In the winter of '63, I was 8 years old. And my mother had been pacing back and forth through that little rundown place we rented by the Waterhouse district in town. And you could just see the weariness on her face and hear the stress in her voice when she asked my big sister what we should do. Now, my sister was only 5 years older than me, but at 13, she was the closest thing my mom had to an adult that she could talk to. You see, we'd waited for 2 days for my dad to come home with some money for food and coal and hopefully enough to get the electricity back on. Waiting became a way of life for us after my older brother passed away and Dad chose drinking over his family. Well, I could see that she was about to cry, so I took my younger brother and my little sister on up the stairs to the room with me. The baby stayed in her arms where she could keep him warm. Well, we kept watch for him, and we made a game of scraping our names in the window frost. And Dad turned to words later that night when a cold Arctic chill blew in from the north and the temperatures dropped to a dangerous low. And we were afraid that the water pipes were going to freeze and burst. Well, my sister stepped up with 50 cents that she'd saved from babysitting and said, "Mom, me and Danny could go down to the coal yard and we could get enough fuel to keep this old house from freezing tonight." Well, we went out to the garage and got our old sled and bushel basket and off we went. We got down to the coal yard and it was closed for the night. And underneath the street lamp stood a great big red steel box that looked to me like a giant sewing machine. But she took off her mittens and dropped those quarters in it and turned the big knob on the front, and we waited for the coal to come out into my basket. Nothing came out. And desperately she tried to turn that knob again, pounded on the front of that machine, and still nothing. Well, her little head went down and her shoulders came up and she began to sob. I said, "Jan, what's the matter?" She said, "That stupid machine. It took our money and it kept the coal, and now we've got nothing. I am so sick of living like this." Well, seeing her so hopeless made me feel sick and empty inside, and I rushed up and I hugged her as tight as I could, and there was nothing warm between us but the tears that were flowing down her face. How long we stood there underneath that street lamp in that swirling wind of snow, I could not tell you. And finally she pushed me away and said, "We might as well go home now, there's nothing else we can do." And angrily she kicked at the snow and uncovered 3 shiny black pieces of coal. She bent down, picked them up, and put them in our basket, and I swept the snow to the side with my foot and uncovered some more. I picked them up and put them in with hers. I said, "Jan, by the gate, there's a whole bunch of it." We ran over and gathered it all up, and our spirits burned brighter and brighter as we found a piece over here and a chunk over there, and soon our basket overflowed with more coal than we would have ever gotten for the 50 cents that was still stuck inside that stupid machine. Well, she wanted her money back. She stuck out her bottom lip and marched up to that machine, cursed it real ugly, and kicked it real hard. And out spilled 6 shiny quarters. I don't remember how long that fire kept us warm, and I don't recall what we did with all those quarters. But I remember that night often. I remember it fondly. I remember it as clearly as a snapshot in a picture book. You see, we didn't always get what we wanted, but from that moment on, we treasured the gifts that we had. Each other. Always live with hope, recognize your gifts, and be good to one another. Thank you.